Contrary to what people believe, more than 1/3 of our customer is less than 30 years old. We call ourselves SBI as a superstore of financial services. YONO today has 90 million registered users. In UPI, for instance, we do 200 million transactions a day. So 23% market share in deposits, almost 20% market share in loans. Consistently for 20 years, SBI always had its asset size 20% of the GDP of the country. People ask, how is that, when you are having 98% of the transaction outside the branches, do you still need branches? Today, my analytical team had developed more than 140 different AI/ML models. And they shook up every conventional player and say that this is how business has to be done. So we developed a predictive AI/ML model, which categorizes the branch into high risk, medium risk, low risk. This gradual movement from one assignment to another will also make you to understand that every operation brings its own set of complexities. SBI also prepares you for this. Customers want trust, customers want empathy, customers want good quality, customer-centric service.
Welcome to Innovators Playground, a tech podcast by NPCI. We get one of the best minds to you so that you get inspired, you hear them and charter your own journey. Today we have with us Mr. C.S. Setty, none other than Chairman SBI. Sir has over 3 decades of experience and I have personally known him last many years, and I can only vouch for at such a high position, he knows everything. And if anybody would have interacted with Mr. Setty, they can vouch for his humility and resilience. Jumping into the conversation, SBI has the largest mobile banking, the digital bank in the app. You only need one. SBI's internet banking and other digital channels. SBI also has 22,000 branches, the BC agents. So how does this digital and physical, and I still understand that you continue to invest into expanding the BC agents, the branches, and also the YONO app, enhancing further. So how do you see the balance of these two activities, and how do you think this is required?
Look at the SBI presence. I think when we look at the magnitude of our physical reach, it's not only about I just would like to correct you that it's not 22,000 branches, it's 23,000 branches. And we have almost 75,000 business correspondents who are actually essentially franchises of SBI. And then we have largest ATM network.
Yeah.
So on aggregate basis, we have about 1.6 lakh touchpoints.
Which is almost equal to the India Post in that sense.
Yes, in terms of the number of post office. Yes, 1.6 lakhs touchpoints. And on the digital side, you are very right. I think YONO has been very, very transformative for SBI. In 2017-18, when we introduced, YONO today has 90 million registered users. I think more than the registered users, as a financial services application, it has got almost 14 to 15 million people logging in every day. I think it looks like contradiction. And also I want to give that, in terms of the transactions, 98% of the transaction volume which we handle is handled outside the branches. So then the people ask, how is that, when you are having 98% of the transaction outside the branches, do you still need branches? But I think we have to look at, one is the humongous customer base in SBI has 520 million customers, and we acquire 65,000 customers every day. The customer base is diversified in terms of education, in terms of demographics, in terms of geography.
Yeah.
I believe that while we have very strong digital presence, we also need to have a physical presence. That is one. Number two, I think the branch network or digital, for instance, should not be seen as replacing the physical networks. Digital has to make the branches more inclusive in its approach, in the sense that what we are looking at our branch network, at least for next 10 years. After 10 years, I think the banking itself is going to be completely different. I think that we can discuss as we go forward.
Correct.
So we are positioning the branches as something which will be integrating our financial inclusion activities, rural, semi-urban population, to come into the digital world and increase the digital adoption. I think this is something what we are.
I think in a sense, what you're saying is first of all, such a large touch point says that SBI truly can be banker to every Indian. I think this is first the confidence you as an institute are exhibiting to the country. Point number one, because the moment you say the banker to every Indian, everybody gets included, right? I can only imagine while you spoke about the transacting channels, your call centers, your customer service and support center, right? So I'm saying our citizen in the rural India calls up, and at the same time, the millionaire, or if I may call billionaire, also calls up to expects the similar amount of customer service. I think it must be a really humongous task.
True. See, one more thing what we need to understand is the banking needs are not necessarily only transactions. They need a variety of
Yeah, absolutely. Transaction is one of them.
One of them. I think we should never think in terms of 90% of the transactions are happening on the mobile or ATM. Why do you need branches? Branches are required. Branches have to constantly reimagine themselves and reposition themselves. So if the transactions are not happening, it still happen. In fact, in across 23,000 branches, the footfall per day is 40 to 50 lakh people. 40 to 50 lakh people still visit. And also, I think the customer needs also are changing. And we call ourselves SBI as a superstore of financial services, which means that it's not only about financial transactions or simple banking transactions. It's everything.
I think you spoke about this whole transforming this physical channels into digital. And if you recollect our conversation, we are also very bullish on this whole Android version of the DBU, right? Where consumer can go and interact with the physical, the ATM kind of a box, which is Android driven, where you're running an app and you can actually open an account. You can do everything with the voice banking, AI on the other side, and they are able to behave as if they are YONO on that DBU in that sense. So we have spoken about it quite a lot. Such a large bank, we talk about AI in a big way in the financial services, and there is a lot of conversation. RBI had set up a committee on AI. The government is very bullish on setting the AI data center. Sir, what are the projects SBI has undertaken on AI side, and how do you think they are they critical? Are they changing the way SBI is now looking at data and some of the risk management features? How do you see that AI usage of SBI?
So SBI has been one of the pioneers of using the predictive AI. I think, for example, by using the internal data analytical teams, we were the first one to launch pre-approved personal loan.
Your systems work in the night and morning,
and the leads are generated and already in-app notifications.
When the consumer comes in, you already know exactly.
And even the consumer himself can avail the loan and the YONO. So today, my analytical team had developed more than 140 different AI ML models.
Wow, 140.
And some of them are patented. For example, we developed, with the early adoption is, apart from the PAPL, is the risk management itself. As I mentioned, we have 23,000 branches. And unless you know categorization of these branches from a risk point of view, not from the audit point of view, proactively, how do you assess the risk profile of a branch? So we developed a predictive AI model, AML model, which categorizes the branch into high risk, medium risk, low risk, based on the historical incidents which have happened, what is the kind of volume of transactions, nature of transactions. So based on this, and this is a patented one, a model itself is patented, and our audit cycle is determined by, whether it's a high risk branch or not. This is one. The biggest adoption of AML is in the proactive risk management. Today, more than 20 different channels are integrated in real time or near real time with our PRM cell. And the models which are used are the tools which are used for proactive risk management all of them are AML models. So this is predominantly the primary use case has been in the risk management. But I believe that we have a few projects which we are under implementation. Our approach to AI is enterprise level AI. While a lot of institutions are currently following what are the best use cases, that is one approach which we could touch. But we already tried that use case approach. We would like to build an enterprise level AI, which means that in terms of the financial inclusion, in terms of the sustainable banking, in terms of the fraud and risk management, and in terms of hyper personalization of services.
So I think if you are building the models by yourself, patenting back on SBI, I think it's just a dream. Moving to the next section, sir, and we spoke about briefly the elder citizens, senior citizens. The SBI also has one of the largest salary account based professionals. SBI also have youngsters now joining up, opening up the account in the bank, the most trusted bank of India. How do you handle, sir, look at this younger generation, very different than the some of us or the senior citizens, and how are you tuning your systems, processes to deal with this younger generation, sir? Is this of your immense interest?
No,
I know you have.
It is definitely an interest.
I know you have, but I'm still asking this.
It is definitely an interest for the simple reason that in the demographics of customer base what we have, contrary to what people believe, more than 1/3 of our customer is less than 30 years old. So which means that these are the people we believe that they trust our services. They're also happy with our digital services. But I keep asking my team, this customer segment, did they open account because they had their parent account with them? Or they're opening because it is a neighborhood bank, around the corner, who will go and walk in and open the bank account? Or are they opening because we are the best bank in terms of services? So our effort towards appealing all segments, not necessarily youth, particularly youth because their expectations. In terms of expectation, let me tell you, we did a dipstick survey on the customer surveys, and one of the items was on the ease of account opening, and we claimed that we can open, if you come to our branch, the account can be opened in 25 minutes. If you are using your e-Aadhaar based.
Yeah.
A lot of customer feedback is that why does it take 25 minutes to open an account? So the customer expectations are shaping. It used to take 3 to 4 days to open an account.
Right.
In many countries today, let me tell you, it takes a week to open a bank account. But in general, I think Indians want a quick service. So we realized that we have to completely overhaul the way we deliver our services. Not only deliver our services in one particular channel, may be very efficient. But is that
happen instantly?
Yeah. Is that efficiency is available in the branch? Is that efficiency is available in the ATM? So we are planning in the 2.0, which is very close to my heart, and I've been talking. It's a very complex ecosystem which we are developing in the YONO. YONO 2.0 takes away all these channel-related issues. Whichever channel it is, we are going to provide an omni-channel experience. I think for the first time, anybody in India tried that you can start the journey anywhere, whether it is internet banking, whether it is mobile banking or branch banking. The experience will be uniform and you move from one channel to another seamlessly, which essentially means that we have rewritten the code for all these channels, a uniform code. And I think this is something what we are trying to give to the young generation, that you don't have to worry. You don't worry about the people in the branch.
Yeah.
All those things will be addressed by providing an omni-channel experience, number one. Number two, lot of gamification, a couple of things which I can reveal to you, which will come in YONO 2.0.
Yeah.
What we are trying to do is introduce some new elements. For example, our commitment to sustainability. We are giving a carbon footprint counter, calculator. Then what is this your daily activity in this, and how much you are actually carbon
And
footprint?
actually, the younger generation is very much worried about the whole ESG.
Yes, there could be many other apps, standalone apps, but we want to integrate
that.
many such features in the YONO 2.0.
Fantastic. I at least I'm definitely looking forward to this. Sir, one of the areas, right, which is again very close to your heart, is this whole SBI's partnership with the Fintechs, startups, and I think you are very keenly watching up this whole startup hub, SBI Startup Hub. What you would like to look at, how it's working right now, and what are the next steps, what are the future you're looking at in that sense?
So in case of, I think, is startup and fintech universe, what we are trying to create or has already created in India is amazing. I think they brought the agility and they shook up every conventional player and say that this is how business has to be done, and keep the customer at the center of your activities. We believe that for us, startup and fintechs are seen to be collaborators with us. For instance, I just mentioned about YONO 2.0.
Yeah.
We have almost a dozen fintechs working with us on the YONO 2.0 journeys. On the technology front, in the sense that if you have a solution available in the market, why actually developing it? You collaborate and then
partner,
which was not not the DNA of the large organization. Like everybody wants to build, not the buy part, and we are trying to move there. The second feature on the startup is that what kind of support we can give to startup ecosystem. In terms of, we probably are the only bank which has got an empanelment process for startups. We have empaneled the agri-fintechs, we panel the fintechs and startups. That's on the engagement part. The other part is in terms of supporting the startups. We have opened a standalone startup special branches, which cater only to startups across 6 centers. And they not only provide any financing needs, they provide advisory services. They bring the tax consultant, they bring the, how you handle your FEMA-related issues. Because a lot of them, do some cross-border transactions.
Yeah.
So these are also another important element. And on the financing side, of course, we are trying to see how best we can support these startups in terms of funding.
When the fintechs come to you or your team, what are your expectations from the fintech? Because many fintech founders are going to obviously wanting to partner with SBI, listening to this podcast. If you could actually articulate, because I think we are so tightly regulated, right? As the banks and at the same time, fintechs come with a very free mind, open mind. So what are your or SBI's expectations from these fintechs?
The first and foremost, our expectation is in terms of their cybersecurity stance.
Yes.
And you would be surprised that when we started engaging with these fintechs, most of them didn't have even certain certifications. So this is a starting point. We have a checklist and we give. It's a structured way of engagement. It's not that we
but
keep on.
Very important, sir. I think you said cybersecurity first, right? Because that's like a 1 and 0.
Yes, and either you are there or you're not there. So if they are not fulfilling those things, I don't think we will be able to engage. I think this is something which we have been a non-negotiable kind of situation. But I think people understand and they're all adopting to these requirements. The second important element which I keep telling all the fintechs and startups who want to engage with SBI is you need to have a scalable solution. Because every number in SBI is very large. In UPI, for instance, we do 200 million transactions a day, correct? And if you add non-financial, it would be another 120 million. Which means that anything which I would like to use, even a hyper-personalization, I'll just give an example. If I have to take only ultra-high net worth individual, it would run into lakhs.
Correct.
That means any solution, anything what you want to do, you need to be able to handle the scale. The scalability is second feature. And the third thing is in terms of understanding the complex ecosystem of any large legacy bank like SBI. Because most of our IT architectures are built over a period of time. It's not as easy as working with an NBFC, which is 10-year-old and built on a new systems, micro systems, but we have a large core banking systems.
Fantastic. I'm sure that Fintechs founder watching are taking note of this. Sir, another aspect, and this goes back to my earlier question. You've been talking about high tech with high touch, and this is the kind of this whole balancing the the tradition, scale, innovation. Would you like to speak about it? What is this whole high tech, high touch all about?
So technology is central to our agenda. Why is technology important? Apart from what customers expect from you or demand from you, my favorite statement again is that every 6 to 7 years, State Bank of India doubles its size in the balance sheet terms. Assuming that 10 to 12% is a growth rate, and 6 to 7 years, you add one more SBI to your API. And you can't handle this just by increasing the number of people or increasing the touch points. That's not the solution. We have not done that in the past. From 2018 to 24, we have doubled. And I'm sure in another 6 years, 7 years, we'll be doubling in size. So technology is the one which had enabled us to handle these volumes. And so technology is central to our agenda, and which means that you need to be high tech. It is not only high tech in terms of providing the intuitive customer journeys. You also have the high tech in terms of back offices and other things. The high touch point is very important because I believe that how do you marry the digital with empathetic customer service? See, I think this is the only industry, the financial services, where people trust with their hard-earned money. It's not about loans. Loans is another part, but deposits. Predominantly, the whole economy is driven by the deposits, which means that the customers want trust, customers want empathy, customers want good quality, customer-centric service. This is something which we will never be coming out of. Whatever we do on the digital front, whatever we do on the technological front, our DNA of providing high-touch services, not necessarily in terms of having a huge number of touch points, but it could be even empathetic contact center, for instance. It's a high-touch activity which we do. And you see, you did mention about contact center. The 75 to 80% of the calls are coming from rural and semi-urban areas. So which means that people still want, that support and this thing. So the point is that the element of trust and empathetic customer service requires high touch.
Oh, fantastic. Sir, Viksit Bharat 2047 is the collective national vision laid by our Honorable Prime Minister. How do you see SBI contributing? I'm sure that you have a plan, SBI has a plan to contribute to this vision, because this vision is very important for every Indian, and I'm sure the largest financial institution in India has a lot more contribution to be done for if this vision has to realize.
Viksit Bharat, SBI has to play a very significant role because today SBI is seen to be a proxy to the Indian economy. Why is it called proxy to the Indian economy? We have almost 23% market share in deposits. As you mentioned, as every Indian we serve. I believe every Indian household in some manner is touched by SBI. So 23% market share in deposits, almost 20% market share in loans. Consistently for more than 15 years or 20 years, SBI always had its asset size 20% of the GDP of the country. Our aspiration is, which means that, as India grows in different ways towards its Viksit Bharat goal, SBI is positioned to support all this growth. SBI is not dominated by any particular segment. We used to be very large corporate banker a few years ago. Today is a highly diversified loan book and diversified deposit book, which means that whichever way India is growing, in every segment, every sector, SBI is there. SBI is already there. It's only that, how do we align and we're in complete alignment with the Viksit Bharat goals. That's number one. That means your size will help you to be part of this journey of Viksit Bharat. The second thing is that our aspiration is to make this 20% asset of the GDP to 25%. That means we would like to be 1/4 of the Indian economy in terms of the assets. So that also gives us aspiration that eventually we would be one of those top 10 global banks or top 20 global banks. In terms of today, we are top 50 in the asset size, the only bank in top 50 in assets. So how do you reach that scale, size, complexity as the Indian economy actually moves towards Viksit Bharat is SBI's goal. But what is that contribution we are talking about? One simple example I'll give you. Today, India has to focus on some of the emerging sectors. It could be semiconductors, it could be green hydrogen, it could be battery storage. We also believe that over the years, SBI has been not only helping the industries in terms of financing, we were also helping them to build the capability because we understood the sectors. So we are setting up an industry cooperative or coordinated body called Center of Excellence for this project financing of emerging sectors in SBI. And we believe that, a lot of such new age sectors will contribute to the Indian economy and we will be there ready for financing those sectors.
Yeah. So it's like a fully grounds up approach to...
and also understand that what could be the future potential of these sectors and support those industries. That's on the industrial side. If you see on the financial inclusion, agriculture, SME is very, very important in terms of the jobs, and that plays a significant role in Viksit Bharat. We have recently launched on the digital initiative. How do we use the GST, your UPI data, our income tax data, our own account statement data, and our own historical probability of default and loss given default data, and created a business rule engine for SME where up to 10 crores we process them. Our approval time is 30 minutes. 30 to 35 minutes, we give the approval to the SME customers. So these are some of the improvements we are trying to do, and so is the case with agriculture. In terms of the home loans, we are the largest home loan provider. I believe that home loan in every country's economy, real estate played a significant role. And the mortgages are a very important component of that.
Sir, while you spoke about your, and you touched upon the global, while the domestically you have so much to do, right? How do you really manage such a large bank, even from an international perspective? I think you are one of the largest international.
We are the only MNC bank from India.
MNC bank from India. So how do you handle that part? Because again, every country has its own nuances, the technology, and again, compliances, the separate rule book. And if you have presence in so many countries, how do you deal with those many regulators?
One is our presence overseas has not been a recent one. Just to tell you, our oldest branch in Colombo is more than 150-year-old. And our London branch is more than 100-year-old, which means that the foreign operations are not new to us. Today, yes, it has grown in size. We operate out of 29 countries with 240 plus touchpoints, branches, representative offices, subsidiaries. And the overseas balance sheet contributes 10% to the overall global balance sheet, which is very significant size. Our focus has been, apart from locally supporting the economy or supporting the industries there, we've been continuously looking at our overseas operations to support Indian corporates' aspirations to access those markets, to raise financing in those countries, whether it is external commercial borrowings. We are the largest trade finance providers to the Indian corporates today, supply chain financing. So that will continue to be there. Our aspiration is that maybe 12 to 13% of our balance sheet. But from a global perspective, if you see many of the large banks, not necessarily that they had a large overseas balance sheet.
Yeah.
As the domestic economy increases, and you are a dominant market share, Just give an example. JP Morgan is the largest bank in terms of the market capitalization, right? It's a valuation. But it constitutes only 13% of the US economy. But the US economy is so large that JP Morgan by nature becomes very large.
Very large, yeah.
So India, if India economy is going to be, 7 trillion by 2030, and 20% of that is coming from, constitute SBI assets, 1.4 trillion, which means that as the Indian economy grows, we also will grow in size. It doesn't mean that we are not going to focus on overseas, but our idea is that continuously focus on your domestic growth and support the domestic companies to access the overseas market and grow your balance sheet.
Fantastic. Sir, I cannot let you go without talking on some of the personal side questions, and feel free to respond.
Feel free not to answer also, right?
Feel free to respond suitably, sir. That's what I would say. Sir, I'm seeing you for last almost 10 years now, and you have worked in almost everywhere, most of the departments in the bank. But I'm sure that even your team is amazed with so much depth you get in a couple of committees I've worked with you. In spite of being such a higher position, sir, how do you get time to get this depth? Maybe it's a little bit of learning for me as well.
Thanks for the good words, Dilip. Of course, you always have been very...
No, sir, I knew it. I don't want to say otherwise. But, I worked with you directly with 3 committees, and your foresight and your understanding of the matter has been so amazing. And how do you spend time to deal with this?
One thing what I, consciously practiced over the years is that you invest in your assignment or on the job what you are currently doing. That focus is extremely important. I'll just tell you, throughout my career, I've been a corporate banker.
Yeah.
I spent 27 years in corporate banking. And I came to a real retail operations only when you saw me.
Yeah.
Maybe 5-7 years ago when I joined into...
Nobody, I had no idea about this, by the way.
Yes.
I had no idea that you do not have...
No, but today I came to be a retail banker and more than a corporate banker. So which means that, if you put your heart, I think there's nothing which really...
Sincere efforts.
Absolutely.
Sir, while running such a large bank, I'm sure there are good days, there are bad days, things, such a large workforce. I'm sure that things may happen as per your desire, may not happen. How do you deal with all this anxiety, stress coming out, running such a large bank, and still continue to remain so calm? I have never seen you in last 8 years angry, sir.
But I think SBI also prepares you for this kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Because see, the way we are brought up in the organization, that, when I became for the first time the branch manager, I had only 5 people to manage, right?
Yeah.
Today, some of the branch managers manage only 3 people. But the gradual growth which happens, you from branch manager, you become regional manager to, a larger deputy general manager. This gradual movement from one assignment to another will also make you to understand that every operation brings its own set of complexities. But let me also tell you that despite with all these experiences, I don't think anybody is prepared to prepared to face the challenges of being a chairman of SBI. I always thought that 4 years I was managing director and it's just one step, a moment into chairman. But I think it's extremely complex job and with various diversified stakeholders for us. But I think thanks to SBI that it prepares you for this assignment, and
I think, sir, after RBI, one institution which has earned this kind of respect to build the internal talent, that's SBI. Very well said. Very well said, sir. We have some fun time and some rapid fire questions, so you cannot take a lot of time to respond back. One of the habit of your daily routine that keeps you grounded despite being SBI chairman.
I think my family time. I spend with my family whatever little time I get, talking to my children, talking to my wife, and all that. I think is a very powerful unwinding, and also many a time your children keep you grounded.
Okay.
So that's I think is one area.
Great learning for me as well. So next one is going to puzzle you, sir. If you wouldn't have been a banker, which other profession you would have pursued?
No. The banking itself is an accidental profession for me. So definitely I would have been a bureaucrat. I was very keen on joining the government service.
Yeah.
Government of India.
I have seen that
I think
that public service is part of your DNA. I have seen this, sir.
Yes.
One advice, sir, you would like to give to our young audience?
Invest in yourself. And since you asked, I think this question, many a time I've been asked in many forums, what is that advice you give? I was reading somewhere about Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors.
Yeah.
She famously said that you have to do a job as if it is the last job you're going to do.
It's like this is the last day you're living.
Similar
to that.
Then you tend to invest more on the job. And you try to perfect the job. And so I think that is a good idea too.
Sir, from Pedda Potlapadu to SBI chairman, if you had to sum up your journey in one Telugu word, what that would be?
You give me a couple of more words to say. I think if I have to say in one word.
Okay, maybe a couple of words.
Yes. I think Adbhutam. But two other words, if I really have to use, it just came to my mind is Adrustam. That is luck. Luck is also play an important role in that. You have to be in the right place, right time. Right. And the third thing I believe that, Atma Viswasam, what we call in Telugu, self-confidence. You have to have your own trust in yourself that you can reach that stage.
Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Dilip.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. One of the best episodes of Innovators Playground. Very humbling.
Till you meet the next guy.
No, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, we just heard from none other than SBI chairman what SBI is all about. A banker to every Indian, 50 crore Indians having a bank account, the largest transacting bank in India, I think 5 times of the next one. And I can tell you, at least from an NPCI perspective, the lowest technical decline. Best to the next private bank. Over 150 AI ML models with patents. Presence in 29 countries. 160,000 touch points. Everywhere you go, you see SBI. It's such a mammoth structure and still trying to cover metros to urban to semi-urban to rural. And you can imagine the kind of services that SBI offers to every Indian. And truly, you can say that. And we heard today that 1/3 accounts are of youngsters, right? And you can only imagine while delivering the services 24/7, what kind of effort must be taken, not only by the leadership team, but the entire SBI team. I think we must acknowledge and appreciate the SBI's contribution to the Indian economy, the payment system, and the transaction banking services to the businesses, to the consumers, and every household in India. I'm sure we will appreciate and speak very respectfully when we speak about SBI next time. Thank you so much for watching us today. And I'm sure that you liked the episode. Please do share your feedback in the comment section.